So I just wanted to take a minute and do this, so bear with me. But it's like, why is this guy that I followed on Instagram collecting cards posting about being in the mountains of Colombia, giving away cards and cleats and doing all this? So I just want to take like 3 minutes and tell you the story of all of this and what we're trying to do. So 3 years ago, I was in charge of hiring the staff for a camp. And one of the things we had to do was find folks to come from international countries to help us out. And I had met this man who had already worked at the camp, Juan Pablo Duarte, and he was awesome. And he was like, well, I've got a bunch of people in Bogota that would love to work there. And I said, well, that's awesome. Zoom is great. In person is better. So I said, I'll be there tomorrow. And he was like, what?
One day ahead.
We're like, one day. So we got all these people together. I flew down, took everybody to dinner, and we hired 30 Colombians between the two camps. While I was down here in Bogota, I fell in love with Colombia. I fell in love with the people. I fell in love with the place, the beauty, the food. And then we got to be really close. And he has two twin brothers, and he's got another brother, and they all play soccer in the United States for college teams. And then I got close to his mom and dad. Then we flew his mom and dad to the United States, who had never been. Awesome. And it just got to be a family, which I like to do. I like that a lot. So then Juan actually went to get a master's degree in a really special program. For you soccer guys, you're going to love this. It was a master's degree in sports management.
Yes, sir.
And kind of coordination with FC Barcelona. So like, your finance teacher is the finance person from FC Barcelona. Your marketing teacher is that. And it's a very hard program to get into.
It was crazy. Yeah.
And he got in, it was like, you got to go, man. That's awesome. And he was over there, and then he ended up working for a sports marketing agency.
Yeah,
sponsorship agency over there afterwards. And then the pandemic hit, and he had to come home to Bogota. So in the meantime, I'm doing all the card stuff that you guys all know. And I'm thinking, of course, with basketball cards, as you guys know, what has the potential to be as global and as big as basketball cards? To me, it was always soccer, and I've learned so much more about it, but didn't grow up with it. You can see it getting better in the United States. So I'm like, okay, I always want to do things well, but I want to do them better than most. Not like in a competitive way with other places, but I just want to be the best. I want to be different. I want a destination card shop. I want a soccer guy that can speak to soccer different than any other soccer breakers. You studied with FC Barcelona. You worked in sports marketing in Barcelona. You worked in Colombia. Like, you just know more. So if he knew everything about soccer, but nothing about cards. So I was like, okay, here's what we do. I want to hire you, and I will give you a master's course in cards, and you can teach me in soccer, and eventually you can be a soccer breaker and work for us and move to Kentucky and do soccer cards in the United States with bigger dreams and plans in mind. So we started doing that, but the problem is, for him to get a visa, it's like 18 months.
Yep.
So, okay, well, I'm going to hire you, but we got to wait 18 months before you can come to America. But we're not just going to mess around and have 18 months of nothing for you in Colombia. So I get an apartment in Bogota. We set up a studio there for cards. I come down every 4 to 6 weeks, and we just do cards together because that's more fun than Zoom. And then it was like, what difference can we make using cards as a vehicle, always cards as a vehicle, in your home country that I have fallen in love with in Colombia? So he reaches out to different people, and he finds Sebastian Hernandez and his wife. And Sebastian, you can tell them the Sebastian history a little bit. He played for
a couple teams here in Colombia, in Venezuela, in Ecuador,
Bulgaria.
And in Europe. He went to Bulgaria and Turkey.
Turkey.
He played the UEFA Europa League. His team played for the Champions League as well.
Right.
And he started with Falcao. He knows David Ospina.
Yes.
Luis
Ospina
Diaz,
liked one of our things this morning. That was
Diaz.
David Ospina. I pulled his card.
Yeah. So he's very well connected, and he has a bunch of experience in soccer.
So he had this idea where he and his wife, they will have local folks make cleats, and that spurs the local economy. They will pay them to make them, and give them to the kids that can't afford them. And he told us a long story about how he couldn't afford them, and he would get loaner cleats and would sleep with them. And now this guy's playing in the highest levels of soccer. And it's like, so he says they're raising money for it, and they're selling sponsorships and all that. So I'm like, okay. So I said, Juan, let's go do this. We don't really need signage, even though we have some, because we're not really going to sell a lot of soccer cards. It's not about selling them in Colombia, because the money exchange rate's different here. You can't buy American cards and sell them. It just doesn't work.
It's different, yeah.
But I said, here, do this. Because he was getting sponsorships to pay for all the cleats. I said, we'll buy every single cleat for the kids. We don't need any signs, even though they were very nice and did that anyway.
Yep.
Go sell the signed sponsorships to other people so you get more money for our organization. And all we want to do is to give out cards, give out cleats, and to meet the friends of his, just a connection, like that in the higher leagues in soccer. We just want to, and if nothing happens with it, great, that's no problem. But we want to elevate the hobby in a place where the hobby is more stickers than cards. We want to help children and help kids and help Colombia. So that is how I ended up a big redneck in the middle of Manizales trying to speak Spanish, which you'll see. Small town in the mountains. But that's how it happened, because I believe in the future of soccer, so we're giving away many Panini and Topps cards and all that. I believe in the future of that market. But I think if you know and have followed me for a long time, you'll know that's really not what it's about. It's not about money and sales and all that. That we've got to do that for a living, and that takes care of itself with this. But we want to do something special and different. And that was this morning. You'll see the video of us giving out the cleats and the cards and me attempting Spanish.
I think it was good.
I think it was all right. It was all right.
They got the idea of it.
And the point is he is fully part of the roadshow. So we created the football roadshow.
Yep.
And we know there's a World Cup coming up soon. Euros are going now. In 5 years, there's a World Cup in America. Trying to think ahead to how can we establish ourselves with soccer cards in America, because there's some great breakers out there and all that. But we want to be in the space because we think we got a guy that can bring a perspective different than anybody. I would love to open a card shop in Barcelona one day. I would love to
That'd be awesome.
all of us go do that. Like, let's go to the World Cup. Let's do those things.
Yeah.
But that is why we are here, because it is involved with cards. It is always involved with giving. And it's involved with the place that I now fell in love with. And I eat arepas like Skittles now. I mean, it's ridiculous how much.
It's one of your second homes.
It is. So I just thought I'd explain that, because it's like, what in the world is all this stuff on his Instagram and Twitter? So that's it. I don't know. Do you have anything to add to that?
I mean, I won't repeat the story because you made it pretty clear, but I just can't wait for everything that we're doing. I am very grateful with you and with everyone in the Kentucky Roadshow shop for this project that you guys will see a lot, that you have seen already, and that you will see a lot more this coming days. It's been great to be here in this event, and I can't wait to do some soccer breaks, to go to these events, to do great content for the soccer fans.
You should watch his stuff, because you're great on Instagram with Trey and doing lives and explaining different things. I'm like,
I've started with Trey already, doing a couple of lives and with some friends in Barcelona, but I got plans to interview more people, talk about prospects, cards, soccer, the business of it, and then of course we'll elevate the hobby and continue to grow
Elevate
soccer.
the hobby, that's the mission statement.
Just excited, thankful, and can't wait for what's coming.
All right, I'm gonna go get some arepas.